floating like butterflies and stinging like bees. Rumble, you badass jet pilots. Rumble. Welcome to the Wingman Show. My name is Drew Brown. My wingman is Dr. Paul Thompson. What's up, Brother Paul?
Oh, good morning. Good morning. It's a bright day. Well, the sun is still coming up. I finished a very good workout. I worked out in the dark. I started doing that again. That's great for about 40 minutes while I was a little bit late getting on. But it's great. Skies were clear, and I saw the heavens. I saw some stars. One particularly known as the Big Dipper. We'll talk about that.
Wow. I love the Big Dipper and the Little Dipper. That's the only ones I can really tell.
Right.
I worked out. I didn't work out this morning. I did my Shotki match.
Okay.
And I'll tell you what, my back is feeling much better from it. Much, much better from it. Hey, I'd like to give a shout out to all our frequent flyers out there. And our frequent flyers are the people who listen to us all the time. We really appreciate that. You can follow us on wingmenshow.com. We have a newsletter out. And for all you new listeners, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'd like to give a shout out to my man, SS. He wrote us again, and he made me buy another 100 shares of Ford because I said on the show I was going to buy it. And as soon as I got his letter, boom, I hit it. And I bought it for 11 something. And I was going to, a couple of days ago when we were talking about the show, I was going to say, SS, the markets are up. But since then, they've been up, they've been down, they've been up, they've been down. And you on the newsletter last week wrote a story about dollar cost averaging. When the stocks are up, you buy them when they're down. Very good, Dr. Paul.
Yeah, it's a consistent thing. And we talked about SS and the Ford and almost similar to you. I didn't buy 100 shares, but I bought a LEAP, which is a special type of option. LEAP's long-term equity anticipation certificate. What is it? Yeah. Anyway, long-term. It's an option that extends more than a year. It's just a guess.
You're going to have to explain that in the newsletter, Dr.
Yeah,
Paul.
it's kind of a gamble. It's not necessarily a great strategy, actually. It was just
actually, in financial talkings, that's above my head, actually.
Yeah. It's just something to do. I just did that. It was cheap. I spent less money.
Everybody can watch us on YouTube also. We put up pictures, and you can see the handsome Dr. Paul and see these badass jets that we have behind us.
Yeah, the pictures are nice. Take a look at the pictures. They're great. They're great pictures. Some of these airplanes don't fly anymore, but they were beautiful when they were in the sky.
Yep. You know, I had a section I was going to call new shit. And that's funny because I want to talk about my colonoscopy.
Okay.
Anyway, I had the colonoscopy, if you heard from the last show, and they found 4 polyps. So I'm going to give you the update on it. I went to my doctor. We talked about it. The polyps were non-cancerous. They all came back. I'm looking good. I'm going to get another colonoscopy in 3 years. And so I could get some more Michael Jackson juice, that propofol, MJ juice.
Okay. I have something to say about that if I can.
I'd love to hear it.
You don't know this, but just yesterday, just a few hours ago, I'd say 9 hours ago, I got a call from a mutual friend of ours known only as the Minister of Information because he has so much information. And he had the same thing just yesterday. He was having some problems in that area. And he had a colonoscopy and an endoscopy where they go through the throat and they look at the whole system from bottom to top and top to bottom, more thorough. I've never had that done. He was having problems. He found that his problems were not that big at all. They were easily solvable. But they did find, he said, that one giant polyp that was non-cancerous but would have become cancerous.
Wow.
Because of the size of it. And again, he went in. He was not scheduled for a colonoscopy for about another 3 years. But because he was having a problem, he went in. And during this quasi-routine examination, they found something significant, and he got it taken care of. He was home. Wow. He was fine. He was outpatient. He was eating Chinese food last night.
So you're telling me he wasn't a macho man and just went through the pain and said, I'm good, I don't need a doctor?
No, he didn't. He was going through a lot of pain. He was trying to get an appointment. And he finally got it yesterday. And he's on the mend. They told him to, work out a little bit more. So that the lesson here is, go and get it done. Now, I'm not due for one for another 3 years, but I was doing mine every 5 years just because I can't. And I didn't do one at 65. So a couple of years have passed by. And I said, well, I asked my doctor. He said, well, if you don't really need it, they never found anything before. why expose yourself to a major procedure? That was his attitude. I said, what about this thing I see advertised called Cologuard? You mail it in. I said,
Katrina did that. There's no more going inside you anymore. That you just mail it in.
It's very very efficient, very simple. I did it. It took maybe 5 minutes.
Wow.
And it was quick, and it came back nothing. It was something. It's not supposedly as perfect, but nobody's cutting and perforating anything. So I did that for.
Good. Well, I'm glad, and I hope all our listeners out there are taking care of themselves. If you don't feel good, go to a doctor. It's not macho to not go to a doctor. It's stupid, actually.
That's true. And just because you go to the gym all the time, you're lifting weights and doing all that stuff, doesn't mean everything on the inside is going good either. Don't get fooled by that. Don't get fooled by that.
I got something to ask you. I asked you about your birthday, because this is something that's been on my mind for years. You're a Capricorn, just like me, which is amazing. Another two things that we have together. But you're January 5th, and I'm January 20th. And as soon as I heard you say January 5th, I said, what kind of presents did you get for your birthday? And you said none. And I knew it. Kids who have birthdays close to Christmas get jacked for the rest of their life on presents. Even if they get a present for their birthday, they know it was part of the Christmas list.
Yeah, I agree. I might have gotten something once or twice, and I remember getting a cake a couple of times, and that's about it.
That's a shame. As old as you are, you remember two presents from your birthday. Well, that's because it was close to Christmas. What about kids who were born on Christmas or the day before Christmas or the day after? They really get jacked for presents.
Well, maybe it makes you less materialistic. No, I don't think so.
Okay, that sounds great, but it's not cool when you're a kid.
That's true.
You know what I did this week? I was a guest judge for the Miss HBCU 37th annual competition of the Black College Queens. And these are all the Black colleges. Do you know that there's 107 HBCUs? I didn't know there were that many. I could name maybe 20 or 30, but I had no idea there were that many Black colleges.
I figured it'd be a couple of dozen or so, or 3 dozen.
How about that? Yeah. And some of them are private, some of them are public. But anyway, I went and did the judging. They don't have bathing suits anymore. They put that out, I think, all over in the competitions.
I think so, yeah.
But these girls were wonderful. They were beautiful, but they were smart. They were really smart. And the questions that we asked them, they just came through, and Miss Virginia State University won. Miss Virginia State University won that competition. She's gorgeous. I'm going to have pictures up there of her and the other contestants and me and the judges. How about that, Doc?
That's good. That's good. Now, how many judges were there? Aside from yourself?
There was 7. There was 8 of us, I think.
Okay.
8 of us. And then you asked me who was the most famous. I think I was. No.
You were the most famous. Maybe so. Maybe so. You know, how many of them knew Brother Prophet?
Not many people knew Brother Prophet. Not many people knew Brother Prophet. Hey, Doc, you ever notice why you like the music that you like? Do you ever notice? I mean, I like rap. I like rock and roll. And it's because of maybe my personality. And there's a science behind it. The same music that you listened to when you were younger, you still like. It has a lot to do with the artist. My favorite artist growing up was Jimi Hendrix. And they say maybe you have something in common with the artist that you love. But I'm an upbeat person. I like funky rock and roll. I like tower power. I like hardcore rap, as long as it's not too hardcore. Well, the words don't matter. I just like the funky beat. But it's because of your personality and where you come from and your gender is the reason that you like the music that you do. What do you think, Doc?
For me, there are period pieces where I like stuff, maybe 60s, 70s. And so there's some great stuff in the 80s and 90s too. I really, even now. But there's certain things that I gravitate towards at a certain time in my life, typically when I was in my maybe teens and 20s, that just keep going. And some of that stuff is timeless.
A lot of rap music. A lot of rap music's from the music we had before. They sample the same songs.
Right. When they talk about sampling, which is kind of stealing legally.
It doesn't matter to me as long as it's funky. You see, that's the key about music. I truly could care less. If it makes me feel good and it makes my head bop, Like classical music soothes the beast in my soul.
Okay.
It really does. Feel mad, you put on some cursed music, some 8-ball MJG, and all of a sudden you feel a little bit better.
Yeah, I wonder if the old artists, if they knew, if they could look in the future and see how their stuff was going to be sampled, if they would change their legal stuff a little bit later. Because I saw that, I forgot, I won't say the artist's name, but they basically got convicted of stealing stuff from a very popular Motown artist. And anybody under the age of 40 wouldn't know it. Anybody over the age of 40 said, yeah, that's Marvin Gaye. Come on now. Come on. You
can say the name of the artist. I forgot his name.
Was it Thick?
Son of a very
Thick or something? It's not Thick. Now Alan Thicke was this.
Alan Thicke. It was his son.
The son.
Robin Thicke.
Yeah, Robin Thicke
stole Marvin Gaye's music.
Yeah, I mean,
didn't Marvin Gaye win? Yes.
Yeah, they won. They won that. I mean, it was like, obviously said, no, it wasn't. Come on now. We listened to that. See, the thing is, during the so-called civil rights movement in the 60s, there was a lot of stuff played on the radio on black stations all the time, 24 hours a day on the AM dial, because there wasn't much to listen to. So a lot of people tuned in and they listened to it all the time. So there are certain beats that I can identify. I don't care what's going on. I can tell you the song and the artist and the year it came out. And I just have to hear a bar. Curtis Mayfield.
Dr. Paul, I'm going to tell you something. Our age, and I know I don't know what I'm being, but our music was the greatest. I mean, every week, The Temptations, James Brown, Jimi Hendrix. It was just amazing. The Supreme, they just kept coming and coming. Every week we'd go down to the 45 record shop and buy some records. But the music was incredible when we were young.
Absolutely. And then all the stuff was different too. It didn't all sound the same.
That's right. The Beatles, every album was different.
Everything was different. Yeah, all were different.
Well, I think we had the best music ever. I really do. Okay, I got some odds question for you, Dr. Paul.
Sure.
You ready?
Yes.
What are the odds that you and I would win the Powerball? One in what?
Let's see. I think there's a drawing tonight, actually, for the Powerball, and it's like 300 and something. I saw a flag. 330, 350, 380. It's probably dollar for dollar about the same, probably 1 in 380 million.
That's pretty goddamn good, Doc. 1 in 292.2 million.
Oh, then I'll buy 2 tickets then.
Oh my goodness. I think I'm going to go buy a ticket too. Okay, I got another one for you. You ready?
Go.
What are the odds that we will be hit by a meteorite?
Oh, meteorite. Me in the house, or just you personally?
I think it's you personally.
Okay, that's like, I used to think about that flying every once in a while. What if something go? That's going to be it. I'll pay 1 in 682,000.
1 in a billion.
Okay.
1 in a billion.
Okay.
Talking about meteorites, we have something very interesting with our flying career. Do you know they just recently shot a satellite at an asteroid so they could move it? And they wanted to test if an asteroid was coming to the Earth, can they knock it off its projected path and maybe get it into another gravitational pull? It worked. But you know something a little bit more about asteroids and meteorites, and I'd love to hear it, Dr. Paul.
Yeah, well, what's the difference? An asteroid is a big rock, essentially. It's a big, irregular shaped rock traveling through space. And you see it if you look in the air, it's like a point of light. A comet is kind of the same thing, but it's mostly ice and dust. And all these things are kind of orbiting the sun. And the comet will look a little bit different because as it's getting closer to the sun, it starts to melt. So it leaves like a little tail, a little vapor trail. So the asteroid is a point of light. Comet's going to be a vapor trail. And a meteor is going to be like a piece of an asteroid or a comet that breaks off and enters the Earth's atmosphere. Usually it's burned up. If it doesn't burn up and hits the ground, technically that becomes a meteorite, as I understand it. Now, sometimes they do They do slam. There was in 2013, I think 2013, there was a big meteor that came through, exploded over Russia. I don't know if you remember it. It had a huge explosion, and it was eastern Russia, and it was equivalent to the explosion of a 30 megaton bomb. And it shattered windows, and I've got a picture of it. I can send you a picture of it. And
well, we'll put it up on YouTube then.
Yeah. Well, it sent about 1,500 people to the hospital, and you could see it. And it exploded. And there's a piece of it that landed in the Ural Mountains, and they found a big chunk, and it went down in the ice about 25 feet. It left a crater about 20 feet wide and went down about 25 or 30 feet. Just a big ball. Powerful. Now that DART mission, it's the NASA DART mission, which stood for double asteroid redirection track or something like that. Basically, they fired something at it, and it was really exceptional because they were able to hit this asteroid that was really, really small. And the thing was, there were two asteroids together. There was like a parent asteroid and a little baby asteroid, and there is a differentiation system that was provided by the Italian Space Agency so that it would pick the right one, which I didn't know. So somehow it went to the right one and impacted it. Whether or not it took it off course, they're not sure right now. That's going to be studied over a period of months, because to get the asteroid not to hit the Earth, you basically just have to change the speed a little bit.
Yeah, you just have to push it so it gets into another gravitational pull.
Just a little bit. And I guess that's a theory because, there was a couple popular movies made about that. They made like the same month. Armageddon was another one. And another one, Deep Impact. Armageddon was one with Bruce Willis.
Yes.
Bruce Willis and Michael Clark Duncan, the big guy that died, and Ben Affleck. And they were oil rig workers that they're going to send up on two space shuttles that went up together, and kind of crazy. But the one with Bruce Robert
Willis,
Duvall.
He did the suicide mission to save the Earth.
Yeah, Robert Duvall. They did a suicide mission too. I forget who else co-starred with him, but it was a little more serious, and he was an old guy. He landed on the moon one time, and Morgan Freeman was the president. I think that was the first time. One came out in June of 98, and one came out in May of 98. Same kind of thing. And the thought is, if you put a nuclear weapon and blew the thing up, would it move off course, or would it just split up into smaller pieces and still come at you? That's still true. Not quite known yet. So anyway, if there is something headed towards the Earth, you'll have some years to prepare.
Well, look behind me. What do you see?
I see the Blue Angels, probably in the Bay Area, I'm going to guess.
You see the Blue Angels, and guess what? They just got a new pilot called Megan the Stallion. No, not Megan the Stallion. I'm so sorry. Amanda the Stallion.
Okay.
They have their first woman aerobatic pilot.
Really? Okay.
Yes, the first woman, and her call sign is the Stallion, and it's Amanda Lee. And I'll show you a picture of her right now. But she's the first female to be a Blue Angel that flies the jets. Now, the very first woman Blue Angel was Kate Higgins, and she flew Fat Albert, which is a C-130. But this is the first girl to fly formation and do all the tricks in the F-18 with them. And she's called Amanda the Stallion Lee.
Well, maybe they can't fly together because sometimes they do celebrity things where they take reporters up. So maybe she could fly Megan the Stallion in one of the jets.
You think so? That'd be two stallions in a jet, huh?
Yeah.
Well, Megan the Stallion, I'll tell you what, just a little off thing. She is great. But her lyrics are way, way, way deep, like not good. And I have a feeling she's going to be so popular. Those lyrics that she's saying she won't be doing that anymore. I think she's going to go in a different direction, kind of like Ice Cube. Ice Cube's gone a long way from NWA.
True.
And I think Megan the Stallion's going to be one of those. And she went to Tennessee State University.
Yes.
Did you know that?
Yeah, that's your wife's alma mater.
That's
and a lot of friends of mine too.
That's very true.
In Nashville.
Well, you know what it's time for?
PSA?
Time for a Wingman PSA. Fact number 4 in the 11 facts of life. Have purpose. Find your gift and use it. Success is waking up every day, doing something you love and doing it well. Earn a good living using a skill, trade, or profession you enjoy. Work hard, work smart, and don't quit. Fact number 4, have purpose. Find your gift and use it. And Doc, that's one of the most important facts, because I truly believe that anybody who has purpose cannot be stopped. And if you're a kid who loves something and you can go to school and become that and you really enjoy it. See, you and I really didn't work for many years. We flew jets and we got paid for it. And I think that's the ideal thing to do, to make the job that you do, that you can earn a living from, fun and enjoy what you're doing and do it well.
Yeah. There's a mutual friend of ours that put something on his Facebook, which is very interesting. He's still flying. He's still flying for our company, FedEx, and doing very, very well. And he'll put like a cartoon of like a little boy in class looking outside, and the teacher says, "Mr. So-and-so, Mr. Williams, you'll never get anywhere staring out the window." And he takes a picture of himself flying over Damascus, Syria, or flying over the ocean between Singapore and Honolulu. And he'll say, like, I'm staring out the window. I've done pretty well. I like that.
Well, we always care about our listeners, and we care about you and I and our families, and we care about our health. Well, this is something very significant that I learned, and I think it's really important. It's actually in the 11 facts in life, but you should wake up naturally. Waking up and sleeping is one of the most important things that you do. Sleep is where you build everything. It's where you get well. It's when your body rests, your mind rests. But I don't believe you should be shaken out of your sleep. I think you should awake when your eyes pop open. And something that's real important, when you do wake up, you need to get into some natural light. Mm-hmm. It does something to your body to start your body going, start your brain going. But I believe waking up naturally and not getting shaken. And you know what happens if you keep using the alarm? Just go to sleep earlier. If you say, I can't wake up, try going to bed an hour early. But I believe you should totally naturally wake up when your eyes pop open.
Yeah, I've got a pretty consistent schedule now, and I do set an alarm so I don't sleep longer, but generally I'm up well before it. Sometimes 5 minutes, sometimes an hour and 5 minutes, easily. Most of the time it's about 35 minutes to an hour before, so I can get up and do my morning stuff, my workouts in the morning. I'm
a morning person.
Yeah.
I'm not an evening person. I'm definitely a morning person. I wake up 4 or 5 o'clock every morning, no matter what.
Yeah, by 7 o'clock, I'm done, typically.
Well, let's talk about money a little bit. How about this? Hertz, they must have been listening to our show. They had to be. Because you were very upset about this electric car, and you wanted to know how we were going to get charging stations everywhere.
Right.
What was going to be the infrastructure for this electric car boom? Well, guess what? Hertz and BP Oil, British Petroleum, they are combining resources, and they're going to build charging stations all over the country.
I saw that. I saw like 175,000. And I wonder if other rent-a-car companies will partner with other groups who do the same thing. I mean, that sounds like a lot, but it kind of isn't. That might be a lot for one state. But if that's the thing, obviously they're going to be renting electric vehicles, which might be easier for them.
How about in 20 years when a gas station is the thing of the past?
Like put it in a museum. You're
going to have to go somewhere special to buy gas for your older cars.
Yeah.
Isn't that going to be something?
They may be outlawed, which I don't think that'll happen.
Outlawed?
Yeah.
You never know.
Or, if you got a car over a certain age, this is your registration fee.
Or they'll probably find something for $10,000 to make it where it doesn't have emissions that hurt the atmosphere.
Yeah, that could be.
They'll find something. Well, our Wingman, you're going to tell us about our Wingman, but you know what Luna is? Luna was a Roman goddess, and she had the personality of a moon. And you have a wingman today that's just incredible. And the wingman's name is Luna. Would you like to tell us about our wingman for this week?
Yeah, Luna is actually a retiree, but she's a retiree. It always goes after what she needs. Never barks up the wrong tree. Luna is a retired police dog in Scotland. She works in Scotland, and she was given the award of Constable of the Year. I think the thin blue paws line is something that she got. It was an award for the best police dog in England, and she got it. She lives with her handler, Constable Linda McBride, along with some other dogs. And over her 10-year service period, she had saved about 38 people.
Wow.
That's the things about dogs. Their sense of smell is millions of times better than ours, where they can actually detect a dead body in a river or in the oceans. Believe it or not.
Well, that's why they have those dogs in all these, terrible accidents and earthquakes. Yes. And when the buildings fall, they have dogs, cadaver dogs, who are actually roaming the rubble for bodies.
For little things. They gave an example. One thing she did, there was some guys involved in a fight, and somebody had part of a finger bitten off, and they sent Luna. Luna went and found it. They went and found the piece, and they reattached it successfully. She did a lot of stuff. Yeah, police dogs can do a lot of things. You got to be careful. Don't attack a police dog. Attacking a police dog in some places is like attacking. It's a police officer to some extent.
Well, if you attack a police dog, you're a nut. Because if you attack any dog, you're a nut.
True. Yeah, it's you can get probably 20 years or more. Think about that.
Bite on your butt.
Yeah, dogs do a lot of things. I had a dog. They used to use. I think they still use beagles. Beagles as drug dogs sometimes. And I had one alert on my bag one time. I was coming from someplace, and the dog went. And they come. These dogs don't bark. They just sit down. They sit in front of what it is. I said, "What'd you get in that bag?" I said, "Everything." Open it up. It was actually a croissant. I came from Paris. I was hungry. My dog was hungry too. And he just laughed and left. But sometimes they can be intimidating. I remember one time my daughter scared a police dog away because we had come back from Jamaica, landing and the bags are coming out, and they had a big handler with a dog, huge dog. Dog weighed 200 pounds, and the guy holding was weighed about 350 pounds. And they're coming in, they're going through the bag, and she was just in a stroller. She just lived in a stroller. Mm-hmm. She saw this big dog come. She lets out this yell. And I guess it must have hit the right frequency.
Uh-huh.
Dog is gone. It's 200 is gone. And the guy's with him. He's just, he can't control. He's gone. So she doesn't remember that. But I said, you terrified a 200-pound dog, in Hartsfield, Atlanta airport, in the international section one time. Everybody has their power, and we all have our weaknesses. But we just have to kind of overcome them and do the best we can. But this time, our wingman this week is a four-legged wingman that's done a lot to help a lot of people.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Dr. Paul. I pray for peace.
I pray for peace, too, and look to the heavens, look to the skies, and appreciate every day you're here on Earth.
That's true. Our newsletter is out, wingmenshow.com.
Wingmenshow.com.
Thank you once again, Dr. Paul Thompson, my friend. Thank you for your love, your time, and that's something that we won't ever get back. I want to thank all the listeners, too. Thank you so much for doing the show, Dr. Paul. We're jamming.
Well, thank you, Mr. Drew, for inviting me on. Always good to talk to you. And ladies and gentlemen, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to this podcast or any of the podcasts. If you're looking at YouTube, they say smash the like button. Don't smash it. Just press it gently and use as a link to all your friends. You can also look at us on our website, wingmenshow.com, WINGMEN show, SHOW.com altogether. TheWingmenShow.com. And we hope to see you in the future. Thanks again, Mr. Drew.
Oh, you're welcome. And we're still floating like butterflies and stinging like bees. Rumble, you badass jet pilots, rumble. May there be peace on earth and goodwill towards all men and women.